I'll do too is when we have something interesting going on, I'll just give you a heads up.
Please.
It's alive.
The shrimp?
Yeah.
No.
Wow. Yep, that is longer than you.
Right, longer than me?
Welcome back to Where You Live. I'm Ruth Harris. We are here in the Sea Lab at the Deep Bay Marine Center for Vancouver Island University. This is fascinating. This is where they grow oysters. And you're like, what? So Carl's going to explain what they do here. Carl?
Yeah, so this is part of a research project we're doing at the moment with the support of Western Economic Diversification and the Ministry of Agriculture to look at different hatchery technologies that will help hatcheries to be a bit more cost effective or to do business a bit differently. Stuff to just really help the industry out so we can start getting a bit more seed supply within British Columbia to help out the oyster farmers. Okay. And this apparatus that we have right here is part of that demonstration right now.
So what is that apparatus?
This is a bottle upweller system. So this is one that was developed in Britain and in Australia, and that's had great success there. And what it's doing right now is there's millions of oyster seed in each of those different containers, and it's bubbling fresh salt water up through those, salt water that's got algae in it. Okay. So those little oysters continuously have algae-rich salt water going past them, and that's helping them to grow. But at the same time, it's tumbling them while they grow. So instead of oysters getting all flat like you might see on the beach or on the rocks, this is keeping individual oysters. Yeah, so they're tumbling, so they go a bit rounder. So for the industry, it's more oyster meat inside a smaller shell. But also a nicer oyster too when you get it to the restaurant and you're shucking it open right there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I myself, I'm not an oyster eater, but my husband loves them. Yeah. And that's very interesting because normally we see them in the great big oval, flatter shells and they crack them open. And so now you're saying they're going to be rounder shells and more meat inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're looking at 2 to 3 years before an oyster is sort of ready to go to market in that sense.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Fascinating. Now, how many in each one of those canisters?
Each one of those could up to 1 or 2 million in each one of those.
Really?
So we can, yeah.
Now, how long does it take them to grow from that size to the next size before they have to come out of that?
Generally, that's about the size where they go out onto the farm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So at this point, when they get to this size, then we start to bring the temperature down to the conditions that they'll be experiencing in the ocean for the ones that are going to go out into the ocean.
Okay.
And sort of bring their feed level to something where they're ready to transition out to a farm site.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how do you actually get them to the farm site?
Well, oysters are very resistant to going from water to air because they're a subtidal or an intertidal species, so they're always going in and out with the tide. So we take them out of the water, they get wrapped up into a little bag, the farmer comes and gets them and takes them right away to their site. So we just keep them cool for transport and off they go.
Really?
Yeah.
So they don't need to be constantly in the water?
No, they're quite good being out of the water for periods of time.
That is so slick. I had no idea that was... Now, is that the same for all types of seabed animals, like scallops and sea cucumbers and mussels, or is it just
all of them.
for oysters?
Mainly for oysters.
Mainly for oysters,
because they're the ones who are because they'll be stuck on rocks in nature. So as the tide goes out, they'll be out for a while. So they're used to coping without without water for a while.
Wow. Now, what's your favorite part about working here?
Like Sarah, the variety.
The variety. Okay.
This is a fascinating place to work. The research activities that we're doing are quite novel, right? So this equipment's been used in other places around the world, but we're really seeing how well it'll work in BC, if it'll solve some of the issues that industry's having. So it's nice to know that you're doing work that's going to be immediately applicable to somebody.
Okay.
But the work with the public is fascinating, right? Because everybody who comes through here is here to see something.
Right.
And they're happy to be here, they're asking questions. Right. You just can't help but get caught up in their enthusiasm.
And you guys are at the leading edge of this research and this development.
Part of it, yeah. There's groups around. Oyster farming is quite a large industry around the world, so there's quite a lot of groups doing this sort of work around the world, and we're happy to do our part to go along with that.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you so very much. This has been absolutely unbelievable.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for coming. This has been fun.
You've been watching Where You Live. I'm Ruth Harris. We are at the Deep Bay Marine Center here, which belongs to the Vancouver Island University, and as Carl has explained through the show, it's both a research center as well as public education for not only the general public to walk in, but also classrooms to come and learn here. And it's hands-on, which is super cool. All right, we'll be right back. Stay right where you are.